All right, we are live now. Hello, everyone. Heman, you can maybe unshare the screen and we can just have introduction so that people can see everybody. Everybody, we are live. Please post in the live chat if you can hear us okay.
Yes,
Uh,
folks, please confirm if you can hear us okay. That would be great.
yes, give your confirmation. I think it's probably the setup is looking okay because I'm able to hear my own voice. So everyone, welcome to this roundtable. We have 11 experts here today. These are all industry experts. They are working in data analytics, product management, and they all have inspiring stories. They all have industry experience, and they're going to share their thoughts on the most commonly asked questions. We'll discuss how these experts got started in data analytics, the important skills and tools for data analytics, challenges in the field, and how to overcome them. Advice for standing out in the job market. That's the most important one because the job market we all know is right now a bit weak, but the people who manage to stand out from the crowd are still getting jobs. Future trends in data analytics. Okay, we'll take questions. The live chat is on. Some of our team members from Codebasics are moderating that chat. So keep the conversation going. With that, I will hand it over to Ham now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all. First of all, thanks for the panelists to join this session, and I'm really, excited to host this session. The key purpose of this session is to, to give you the reality. I know some of you are asking, saying that, oh, there is only one opening and 1,000 applications in one day. Yes, we will talk about that. Whatever critical things that you think about this industry, we will discuss about that, because these are people who are really working in the industry. You might be seeing 1,000 ads saying that, okay, you can prepare a dashboard in 15 minutes. And I saw a very funny ad where somebody was showing a laptop and saying, like, do you know how much time I made this dashboard? The other person is saying, like, in 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, oh, I'll show you how to do this in 5 minutes. You can get a job by just following this 99 rupees workshop or whatever shit. And these kind of things are happening, and a lot of people who don't have an idea about the data analytics field, they just enroll into those courses, enroll into the thing, and they're just wasting their time. Folks, this needs to stop. And that's the reason this session has been formed. Like, you can we will discuss all those points. The idea is to give you a reality. At the end of the session, some of you might decide not to become a data analyst. That's absolutely fine. Our aim here, we are not sitting here to convince you to become a data analyst. That's not our aim, right? Let's be very clear. Everyone who is watching the session, there is no need for you to become a data analyst. You need to understand what's the reality of the data analytics field, and then you decide for yourself whether you want to become a data analyst or not. That's the ultimate purpose of the session. So let's keep it in that spirit, and I'll start sharing my screen, and I'll introduce you to my beautiful panelist. A second.
There are 554 people live already, and they've started posting questions. We'll go through these slides, Hemanan, first, and then we'll open it up for the questions, right? Or I think it's part of the agenda itself. Yeah.
It's part of the agenda itself. So we'll go through the live session. Meanwhile, we'll also take some questions, and if it's a part of the ongoing conversation, we'll also take some questions. All right. So welcome everyone. So this is the quick agenda. So we'll have 4 different segments, and it will be fun to go through each of that. And so let me welcome our panelists first. So we have Ashish Babaria here. Ashish is part of the Microsoft, and he is part of the Power BI core visuals. So whatever visuals you see in Power BI, Ashish is part of the team who's reviewing that, who's bringing that to the market. So let's welcome Ashish. Ashish, thanks for your time. And
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
And then we have Kritika Jain. She's a data and operations analyst at Careers 360, and she's a data analyst, and she will be sharing her expertise in the session. Thank you, Kritika, for joining.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. So then we have Muskananda. I see a lot of fans for Muskananda, and so she's she's a scam buster. Is the most prominent scam buster in this group, I would say. And she's a product manager at Microsoft. And welcome, Muskan. Thanks for taking time.
Thank you for calling me here, and welcome everyone.
Then we have Nimra Ayaz. is a data analytics consultant at Systems in Pakistan, and glad to have you here, Nimra.
Thank you for calling out. Thank you so much.
And thank you. And then we have Raghavan. Codebasics has a long relationship with Raghavan. He started with one of our YouTube playlist, and then he cracked into a job. And now I love to see his posts on LinkedIn. He's doing an amazing job, Raghavan, and he's a data analyst at Ford. Thanks for your time, Raghavan. Thanks for coming here today.
Thanks for inviting me, and it's my pleasure being here.
Great. Then we have Shashank. We all know Shashank is doing an amazing job on LinkedIn, and he has his channel Learn with Gigs, which I really promote to people because he covers all the interview questions on Power BI, and he gives the real conditions on the market, like because he himself is an hiring manager. So whatever he says, folks, like he's saying it out of his own experience. He's not like some gurus claiming to be a data analytics mentor or data analytics professional. He's having real experience, like everyone.
Some gurus, some bhaias and didis,
Yeah. So,
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Him, for the invitation. It's a great feeling to be here on Codebasics because I started watching Codebasics from 2018, and from that day, and I never thought that there will be a day where I will be invited as a guest. So it's a great achievement for me. So thank you so much for the invitation.
Shashank, it's you are very humble in saying this. I'm telling to everyone, for any of you who is not following Shashank's channel, please do. It has amazing wealth of information. He is covering it like, you should follow everybody in this panel is on their LinkedIn because they're all sharing something useful for you. But Shashank's channel in particular is covering all this interview portion, all the interview part, the questions, the scenario questions, especially if you're looking for a role in Power BI. So you can check this and it's free, right? There is nothing, you're not going to lose money. You're just going to invest your time. And please invest in these kind of things first. Do some proper research before getting into all those 99 rupees workshop. Then you will know how much bullshit is that. Okay. All right. Then we have Sudarshan. Sudarshan is, he just recently, left his job and moved to do a master's in US. And congrats, Sudarshan, for that. And, wish you all the best. And thanks for joining here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Great. And then we have Bharat. Bharat is a lead data analyst at Sutherland. Again, I have seen Bharat sharing amazing posts on LinkedIn about different KPIs used in different functions, different industries, and all of that stuff. He is again working with multiple clients, so he has that real information. He's sharing things based out of that. So please get in touch with please follow his LinkedIn if you haven't, and if you are looking for some serious information, he's putting that through. Thanks, Bharat, for joining.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me here. Good to be back to Codebasics live podcast once again. Thank you.
Yes. And so then we have Sai Kumar, and he's a lead data analyst at BCBS at South Carolina. Thank you, Sai Kumar, for joining, and all the best. You started your LinkedIn journey, and that looks amazing as well. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Cool. And then we have Vice Aditya. He's in Germany right now, and he's a marketing analytics lead instructor at WBS Coding School. Hi, Vias.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Really excited for the session.
Cool. Great. Thank you. And then we have Zainul Hassan. He's a regional data analyst at Alibaba Group. And thank you, Zain, for joining the session.
Hi, thanks for calling me out here.
Great, Zain. Okay, folks, let's get started. And okay, so let's, the first segment we have is to discuss whatever we see is a myth or fact. We'll do some analysis on this and give you the real insights, try to give you the real insights about this in the job market. Okay, the first thing, freshers cannot get a DA job. So we can also see in the comment section that people are not really happy about the job market. So I would like to hear from people who are currently hiring. Like, how do you see freshers when you are hiring them?
I can go on this.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So freshers cannot get a DA job. That's a myth for sure. So a year back, I was a fresher. So, but I was able to make it into the industry in this market. But few things that we need to consider when you're a fresher. So you're not having industry experience, that's for sure. So people with experience have more knowledge for sure. But then what the things that you can do are, so if you have a niche, let's say you're interested in one industry, so try to do project in that industries, and then leverage LinkedIn. So gather, like, look for mentorship. So there are a lot of mentors for you. So never hesitate to drop a message to anyone's DM. You might not get a reply, but text a lot of people, you'll get a reply. So that's one thing you can do. And that's one thing that set me apart was participating in a lot of competitions and hackathons. So there are a lot of things happening everywhere, in every corner of the world, like be it Kaggle or like in-person hackathons or competitions. You don't have to win, but then you learn a lot from your colleagues or like from the judges, from your fellow participants. So learn from them, like that sets you apart. And also courses, certifications, building a amazing portfolio. And it's not just about your technical skills, but what also combination of tech and non-tech that sets you apart. So building that problem solving, critical thinking abilities,
Yeah, that's good,
all these
Saitama.
things.
Isn't it also true that, let's say, if 100 freshers are applying for a job, only 5 or maybe less than 5 are able to crack it, right? Like maybe Shashank, would you like to add something on that, because you're hiring for data analyst roles and things like that? What is your take on that?
Yeah, so in general, what freshers do, that they just buy some kind of course and or some kind of boot camp from any particular ed tech institute, and they just do the learning from that, and they assume that they have the learning and they are ready for the job in the market. So 95% of the times, this is what is happening, and that's why there is a lot of crowd in the market, because they are just learning the skills from different tutors and just then creating their resume and just looking out for the job in the market. Obviously, after 6 months also nothing will be happening for them, because they're not doing what is required in the market, right? So they should have a, like, apart from technical skills strength, which everybody is having, you need to have strong project portfolio. You need to have strong online presence on LinkedIn. Basically, marketing, you have to do marketing of yourself on LinkedIn. The more you will do marketing, the more likely you are to be noticed by everyone, and the more likely you will be getting the referral in the later point of time. So all is basically, the more marketing you will be doing, the more likely is to be that you will be getting any kind of interview call directly from the recruiter, or you will be getting any kind of referral who is there in your connection list. So you have to go extra mile, and those 95% of the times people are not doing all those things, and that's why they are not getting any kind of job. Yes, jobs are limited, but you have to come in that 5% zone. Then how you will be getting that job? Otherwise, you will sit like this only for the next couple of months also, nothing will work for you. So you have to accept the reality, what is there in the market, and according to the market, you have to take the necessary steps and search for the jobs.
Yes. So I think I would like to conclude on this. Ashish, yes, please go ahead. You want to add something?
Yeah, for me, like in simple words, it's a myth, because though I'm not a fresher, but I know one of the fellow who's designing very good dashboards, like Manan Itodia is there. And I would like to give the live example. Like he has just passed out, even though he has not passed out with his bachelor's degree, but he was very good at data analytics. And one company from the Australia, Agile Analytics, they just hired him from the competitions. One of the dashboard he has prepared for the competition. So I think it's a myth.
I agree. It's a myth. So let's just we'll close on this topic. I just want to conclude this thing. It's a myth, but at the same time, it's not very easy. It's not like how people are showing, like, you just have to spend 15 days, you can become a data analyst. You just have to build 2 dashboards, you can become a data analyst. That is also a myth. Like it's not possible for everyone who's enrolling into any course to become a data analyst, right? It is becoming really competitive. It is as competitive. It is not as competitive as IAS exams or getting into IITs or UPSC stuff like that. That's the selection rate is even more tougher there. But if you compare to that, it's a bit easier here. But again, it's competitive. Getting to a data scientist role or data engineer role as a fresher is even more difficult than getting to a data analyst role. That's what I always say. Data analyst role is slightly easier to get in than compared to data science and data engineering, but that does not mean getting into data analytics role itself is easier. It is competitive. If you're ready to not just build the skill, but also show the skill to world, like Shashank mentioned. If you're ready to show that skill to the world on LinkedIn by constantly sharing your work, by constantly networking with people, by constantly building a project portfolio and adding projects to it, then you can get into the 5%, the top 5%. If you don't do that, you will remain in the, unfortunately, you will remain in the 95% and you will not crack a data analytics job, right? And no course can help you with that. Even the course, whatever we have, cannot help you with that if you're not ready to do that extra effort. So that's where, there is a gap. So we talked to a lot of hiring managers, and hiring managers say only this, right? Like they wanted to hire more people, but they're not ready, they're not ready to, for the job. And this also comes with our system, like the schools that we have, colleges we have. It's very funny that the colleges and schools don't teach the real Excel, the business Excel. Which, how many colleges teaches the business Excel application? They teach all this crazy stuff which is not relevant, all this differential integral calculus and all those stuff. They have to teach Excel. Excel is the one that is going to be useful. They have to teach them how to write an email, how to use PowerPoint presentations, how to present yourself, how to present insights. None of these things are being taught, and this is a real challenge for freshers. You have to hustle and you have to learn all the skills yourself to make yourself employable. Because do not trust on colleges and schools, because they have a very old system and they're not going to change any soon. I don't think they're going to change like tomorrow or within 6 months. It's going to take time. I know some colleges and schools, they are proactively doing these changes, but not all the schools and colleges. So if you're a fresher, rather blaming the job market, you can think how you can be in the top X percentage to crack the job. That's something, that's how I would conclude this thing. All right, great. Let's go on to the next one. People with career gap, like let's say someone who's having a career gap of 2 years or 3 years, are they really not considered for the interview? I wanted to know that. Like, is there any barrier for them to be even considered for an interview, even though they have good skills? Yes.
Haman, before we go on that topic, I just have a thought related to last topic which I would like to share. See, when you are preparing any skill, it is for longer time duration. It is not for year 2024 or 2025. The market goes through cycles. Economy always goes through cycles. During COVID time, when COVID started hitting, there was a weakness. There were layoffs. Then during the COVID time period, US government did a lot of quantity easing. There was a lot of liquidity in the market, and you saw hiring was just booming. Everybody was hiring. Then came recession, so hiring stopped. Tomorrow some other event happens, economy will go up again. So this is not like, this is your career, folks. This is not like some commodity you are buying. This is not like you're buying some potatoes and tomatoes which will go stale in 2 days. Correct? So if you're preparing for a career, think long term. Heman, and we all have faced times where we were jobless for months. Okay. When I came to US, I was jobless for I think 2 to 3 months. Heman, and you were also, I think there was a time period in Germany, right? Where you were jobless for a few months.
Yes.
So now if I'm jobless for a few months, I remember when I came to US, like I was having NVIDIA experience. Still, I was jobless for 2 months. Just consider that NVIDIA experience on my resume. So economy goes through cycles. Whenever you are preparing for your career, just think long term. Don't say, oh, past 2 months, 3 months, I have applied and not getting a job call. We understand. See, we are not denying the job market is bad. Freshers are having a lot of problems. But then is it like, what are you going to do? Okay, you're not getting a job call. Okay, what will you do? Okay, you will go do something else. I mean, there also you will face a problem because there is an overall weakness. Okay, so just keep that long term, that time horizon in mind.
Yes. All right. Okay. So people with career gap are not considered for interview. Like, anybody would like to add on this? It's a myth or fact. What do you think?
I can add
Yes.
to this. I feel it's a myth for people because, like, if people have relevant experience, or if do not have, also they can. Right now, we have in a virtual situation. Also, we have online internships where people can with, and even data challenges also, like we have in Codebasics, resume project challenge. So they can do these kind of challenges to showcase their skills, whatever they have learned during the process. So it will be easy for the hiring manager to consider them while having a career gap. And the second thing, people with career gap can do networking with people. Like if they are networking on LinkedIn, asking for referrals or like understanding others' perspective also in terms of like if I am having a career gap, how I can deal with situations or how I can move forward with these kind of situations. So I feel this is a myth in the industry. Like people with career gap do not consider or not considered for interviews.
Okay, thanks for adding that, Pratika. I'll give it to Muskan now. Muskan, please share. Before that, I just want to add one point. See, I think it's a fact because the phrase that we have here is like people with career gap are not considered for interview. It's a fact for most of the people. It's a myth for some. I know some people are getting considered, even irrespective of the skill a person possesses or the project portfolio website. I think most of the hiring managers that I know have a mindset. A person with career gap is somehow not good for a job. They have this mindset. I think first of all, that mindset needs to be broken. In Codebasics, we have a lot of people with career gap, like who have chosen different ways, prepared for some exams, they lost their path, and they wanted to come back to the market. We have given them opportunities, and they are performing amazingly well because they have such a fire in their heart. They wanted to get back to the market and they want to prove themselves. They are normally very high achievers. I feel the mentality of the hiring managers need to change. If they see a person with relevant skills in the last 6 months and they show a lot of projects, they should consider them for hiring because that's going to only help them. And so I think that's missing. But I feel this is a fact for most of the people, not a myth. And it's a myth for some people, yes. Like Ashish. Ashish is a career transitioner. And if you consider his career in data analytics, it's a career gap. He doesn't do data analytics for many years. And so now you see he's with Microsoft. I think it also depends upon the people to see the skills and provide them an opportunity. So yes, Muskan, please go ahead.
But let me tell you something.
Okay.
Sorry to just jump into the conversation. See, even though the Microsoft thing is not like, as you said, like it's fact. For me, it's a fact. If you apply, people might not consider it, but it is highly depending upon the person who is into the position, who is into the recruitment. Like I've been hired directly by the head of the project head, right? It's a Miguel. So Miguel has directly approached me for this position, like you just said, come and join in this panel of like 19 people. So it was kind of thing. So I think it's a fact for most of the things, most of the people, meet for very few.
Okay, got it. Yes, Muskan, please.
Yeah, so what you said was very true, him. So I believe that there are two type of HR specifically. In general, HRs have this mindset that career gap is not a good thing. But there will be few HRs that you will definitely find where they give you a chance to at least explain why you have a career gap. So when you are doing the explanation of the career gap, be honest with what was going wrong and if there was any family situation. I know by fact that I had a person who was asking me this question. He prepared for UPSC for like 4 5 years and he could not clear it. And then he wanted to come back to the role. So he told me that I'm not able to explain that, correctly. So can you please help me in that? So be honest with the career gap, be upfront, believe in yourself, whatever things you have, just own it and keep it concise. When you are given the chance to answer that question, please make sure that you answer it in such a way that you are able to explain it because career gap is not a bad thing. There are HRs who are going to, agree to that fact that what I'm saying, and they give chances to people. So you'll find both things happening in the industry. Sometimes they are rejected because they have a career gap. Sometimes they are given a chance just because they're able to prove that they were doing something or they were going through something within that career gap. So
Cool.
that's my point on it.
Okay, thanks. And we'll wind up with Shashank's point. Shashank, please go ahead.
Yeah, just to add one more thing over here, like if somebody has a career gap, maybe suppose 2+ years of career gap, so they should target one particular domain. For example, they target finance domain. So if they are targeting one particular domain, creating their portfolio, particularly focusing on finance domain and targeting for example, finance analyst role. So I have seen people, for example, recently I met with Rashmeet Kaur. She had a career gap of 2 years, but she had command over finance domain. She had created a lot of projects for finance domain. So there was an opening at EY, which is a big four firm, and there was a finance associate position, right? Even though she had a career gap of 2+ years of gap, but she presented herself in such a way on her resume that her resume got selected because the job description was focused entirely on finance related content, finance related domain knowledge, right? So she had that, she presented that on her resume, and so her resume got selected, and as she was technically very good, she cleared the interview rounds also. So that's a good learning for all the audience, that if you have a career gap, you can target one particular domain, because we have seen live proofs of people getting interview calls using that way. Because there is highly, because in general people have variety of domain knowledge, right? So they are not particularly targeting one particular domain, right? So if you're targeting one particular domain, you will somehow get some kind of edge over other candidates, and we have the live proofs. So that can be another point that can be considered for career gap people.
That's an amazing insight, and I just want to add one point to this, where a lot of people with career gap working with they used to work in telecom industry or something like finance, marketing, or something like that. All they have to do is like connect that with the data, right? Basically, you have the subject domain knowledge, and if you know how to use data tools to connect that with the industry, then you can still use your experience and show that as relevant thing. And because subject and domain knowledge is of key importance when you are doing a data analyst job, because it's not just about filtering the columns, filtering ABC. It's not like that. You need to have domain knowledge to provide insights to the team. So that insights comes from proper domain knowledge. So that's the reason why people should know how to connect it. They need to create a story, narrative, to connect their past experience with the data tools and then apply for related rules. Okay, great. We'll close on this one, move to the next one. Okay, so how much does the college influence? Like a lot of people feel that they need to come from a top tier college to crack data jobs. And yes, Jane, go ahead, please.
So it's some sort of like fact also, like you get a good biasness and standard, because I have done my bachelor's from a top tier university and master's is also from a top tier one. So you have a strong alumni in the market. Like in the MNC, if you see, a lot of people are from the good universities and top tier universities. And for the top tier two and tier three universities, there is challenge, but not possible. So you can say that 70% is like from the top tier people can get the jobs more easily than the 30% people. But it is also challenging. But nowadays it is challenging for the top tier people also. Like for myself, I have done bachelor's in mechanical engineering and like struggle for 5 to 6 months to get my first job. But how you started out, like my brother has just done the bachelor's from the top tier 3 university. So I give him the right mentorship direction, like from the last year, like to be active on the LinkedIn, start learning the skills which are relevant to the market. Like he has done the bachelor's in CS, so I want to transition him into the data analytics field. So I started to teach him Excel, which is not taught by the university, then SQL, then the relevant skill set required for the industry. And also push him to be active on the LinkedIn, start networking with the people who are already working on the people, build his portfolio. So after the bachelor's, he started to get some interview calls from the companies because he has the right skills, right visibility on the LinkedIn, and right portfolio, and able to secure a job within 2 to 3 months after his bachelor's. Not like me, I have done the bachelor's from the top tier university and I struggle 5 to 6 months because I don't have the right direction. So you can say that people get the edge due to their top tier universities, but from the tier three universities, if they have the right skill set, right mentorship, they can also compete with the top tier people.
Yes, that's really good point. Thanks for adding that, Zain. Anybody else would like to add on this before we conclude on this one? Yes, Muskan, I see you raising your hand, please.
Yeah. So I do think that this is a fact. Like, I'll not say that this is not true. This is a fact. This is true. Like, there are a lot of companies coming to the top tier colleges, and comparatively, the tier 2, tier 3 get a lot less companies. So what I think is, it's not just about the college, it's also about the culture that is in the college, right? Like how the students are studying, how the seniors are helping. That basically gives an image to the college. So if you have that culture, if you have those friends who are working in top tier, who are in the top tier colleges, ask them how they're studying, look at their schedule, understand that whatever they are doing a lot of hard work. So that's why when they go out and they sit for the off-campus placements, etc., and tier 2 and tier 3 students are also coming there, you see a difference in the skill set, in the practice, in the portfolio that they have made. And that's very important to consider when we are talking about colleges. It's not just the colleges, it's also about the culture that is there in these colleges. I myself come from not top tier colleges, but I could get a job because I had a friend who was studying in IIT at that time, and I understood what are the things that they are doing differently, and I adapted to those things. So that's my point.
Okay, that's good. So what I understand is like, yes, it is definitely, so it's all a probability, right? Like what is the probability of you getting a job? I think with the top tier college, it increases your probability slightly, but it is not the single determining factor, because I know a lot of people who got jobs recently. Before this roundtable, we conducted a previous roundtable with 15 data aspirants who cracked the job, and I think almost none of them are from the top tier college. Everybody studied in some college. It's just that they showed the skills and they cracked the job. So I think it's a myth, but to understand it, with proper meaning, yes, if you're coming from a top tier college, it gives you some advantage if you already have skills and if you know how to show the skills. Okay, all right. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so how much the course certification matters? Online course certification matters. It's a myth or a fact? Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think it matters, but at the same time, I think it's important to also have a strong portfolio. Just because you learn the skills to an online course, I don't think
Yeah.
that's going to directly help you, directly get a job. I believe that it's also important to have a strong project. And sometimes, these big companies also have their own certifications. For example, Google has one. So if you do something like that, I think it definitely gives you an edge over the others. But still, I feel like your project portfolio and practical experience matters more than just doing these
Exactly.
online courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my perspective.
So I would like to add one thing here, and I don't think online course certification really matters. It is a myth, from my opinion. It does not matter, because anything that is very easy to get, it does not matter, because it does not keep you out in the competition. It does not make you stand out. Online course certification is something that anybody can get just by enrolling in a course, and right now we know there are a lot of courses for 200, 300 rupees. Basically, the cost of getting a certificate is just 300 rupees, and you can get any certificate, Udemy certificate or whatever certificate, and you can show it on your LinkedIn, right? But some certification matters. Instead of core certification, I respect the Microsoft certification, Microsoft certified data analyst, because that certification is not easy to get. You'll have to pay some fee, you'll have to appear for an exam, and that exam is also not very easy. So those kind of certification matters. And like Vias rightly pointed out, project portfolio matters to me more than your college degree. Even if you have a degree from IIT, I would not value that more. If I'm hiring for a data analyst role or any data related role, I would value your project portfolios. And if you have done any internships, I would value that more. Okay. Raghavan, yes, would you like to add something?
Yes, so as you said, I feel that portfolio is a certification that you give yourself. And other than going to someone else and getting recognized, having a really good portfolio will make you stand out from the crowd. And it's like a certification that you give for yourself. And that too, for freshers, I think portfolio is much better, because some certifications, as you said, PL 300 cost more than 5,000 rupees for an attempt, which I feel is a costly one for a fresher. Maybe for experienced folks who are already there in the industry who want to leverage that, in that case, I think those kind of certifications will add more value. But as I see that portfolio is much more valuable than a certificate.
Agree. Okay. Great. So I'm recording the session. I forgot to do that, folks. It's okay. Anyways, it's being recorded in the YouTube. All right. Okay, let's go for the next one. Okay, it's an interesting one. I think everybody has something to say about this. 100% job guarantee on courses. It's a myth or fact? Oh, a lot of hands. Muskan, go ahead.
I think when we saw this question, everyone raised their hand and everyone started laughing, because we all know what it is and everybody is ready to say that it's like the biggest myth out there. Okay. Why? Because consider it, guys. Like, for example, you are going to enroll for a course, they'll call you. Let's say XYZ company is calling you and they're saying we are going to 100% guarantee a job to you. But think about it. They don't even know that you are going to, attend the course, even watch the lectures, do the assignment, whatever is there. They are not even, they don't even know about that, and they're still guaranteeing you something. Okay. So it's not at all possible to guarantee a job to anybody in the market. People who have experience, even they don't have a guarantee that they'll get the next job or not. The market situation right now is like that. So never trust job guarantee courses. There's something called as job assistance, where they help you, like they help you prepare for the interview, they make your resumes, etc., etc. That is, a better way of saying this. But job guarantee courses, they are the biggest hoax that is going out right now. Nobody can guarantee you a 7-figure salary after 30 minutes or 3 hour session. So please don't fall for it. It's
And
not
it's
a best
crazy,
way
right?
to market something.
It's crazy, Muskan. I want to add about this, right? I saw some, I don't know, like some advertisement. I was really mind boggled. It said that we have placed like 1,000+ people, and the average LPA for a data analyst is 24 lakhs. Wow. Even a data analyst with 5 years experience don't get that. It's not that easy to get 24 lakhs per annum in India, even for a 5-year experienced data analyst. And they're saying they were placing freshers. They placed 1,000 people, and the average salary they placed people with is like 24 LPA. How I don't understand what is audacity here? How can they boldly say this? And there is no verification link, nothing. And just think about the aspirants, right? They want a lot of people. Somehow I would blame aspirants also, because they don't do the research. They would simply believe that this is a okay get rich scheme. I can get rich very quickly, and they would enroll, and then baad mein they will say like, oh, I lost my money, I lost my 40,000, 50,000, 1 lakh or whatever. And it's not just about the money. They are losing the money, they are losing the motivation, and they think like the world is crazy, like, and it's some of them, it's making them have a bad perspective about the society. And it's just creating more bad people in the society. If you think about it, they have a lot of bitterness in their heart, and they now go and they will try to do the same thing to others, right? If let's say if someone is having a very bad financial condition, they will also find a way to cheat others to get money. I don't know, like the government is not doing anything and to stop these kind of advertisements, to stop these kind of things. And since it is legally not a problem, they are able to do it. They are able to do it and get away with it. I don't know how this is
I
going to stop.
got an opportunity like this when I posted on the first day that I am in the office. I posted with my ID card. I got one opportunity. I got a DM that can you just come to our webinar for 10 minutes and say our post name, that this helped you to get a job there. So whatever reviews you are seeing, most of them are paid. Okay. I was getting 2,000 for 10 minutes just to say that I got a job by doing their course. So think about it, how low people can stoop. And don't just believe all the things that you go and see on the internet. Check, verify it, and see. People are posting reviews on Quora that are also paid. So people who are just writing that I got placed from here, just check the credibility and understand what's happening in the market before going forward with any of such courses.
Yeah. All right. I think Shashank, you recently posted a video also, right, about the reality of 100%
Yeah,
job guarantee. We'll share some insights
yeah,
from
yeah.
that.
So practically, I would like to give an example. So recently, there was a person like who contacted me. So he invested 50,000 in a job, 100% job guarantee course. Since he was a serious candidate, just like other freshers, so he gave his 100%. He did everything. He learned everything. He created projects. He did everything which was required from the institute side. So when there was time, when the placement was had to be done, so he sent his resume, but what happened? The company said that the institute said that they are forwarding the resume to different companies. But what was happening that nothing was happening in actual. Like nobody was giving him the interview call. He was like communicating them like again and again that what is the update? What is the update? I'm not getting the interview call, and they were just saying that we are working on it and you will get the interview call soon. But nothing was happening. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. 6 months went and he didn't get the interview call. At the end, what they said that just to compensate that, they said that they will give fake salary slips for 6 months or for the entire duration in which he has done the training from their institute. So fake salary slips they are providing. So he took it because he couldn't get anything else. So he took the salary slips. But eventually, when he got the interview call, I think the company was Herman. So he gave the interview. He cleared the technical rounds. He went to the HR round, and in the HR round, they asked salary slips. They asked Form 16. They asked PF account details. He didn't have those details, and as a result, he was not able to get through. He was, even though passing the technical round, still he was not selected for Herman. So even though they are providing you fake salary slips, still it won't help you at all, because as I said with a live example, you will not be getting any kind of positive result from that. So it's better to learn either free from YouTube, or you can go for some affordable courses, just like a Codebasics one. Don't go ever for 100% job guarantee course, or you should not go for any kind of pay after placement course also, like 100% pay after placements. That is another kind of scam going on, because that in that also there are a lot of terms and conditions which initially freshers sign up, and later on when they face the consequences, they understand that they have already signed up and now they can't do anything, and they end up losing a lot of money. So definitely nobody should go for 100% job guarantee courses.
Yeah. So folks, I'll close this one. Thanks, Sashank. That's a great point you added. I'll close this particular topic. I just want to say one thing, right? Just because like we are hosting this in Codebasics and we also have a course, right? Even don't take our course blindly just because we are doing this and all. It doesn't mean that you need to buy a course. It's not like that. You have to do a proper research. Talk to the people who are doing the course. Talk to 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them. Find them. Do some research. You have to do some research for at least 2 or 3 days. If you're not spending that time to do a research about a course or something, it's not just about the money. The course price might be cheaper for you. It might be just 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. It might be cheaper for you. But if you're investing 6 months for your career, you need to do at least 3 or 4 days of research. I know a lot of people just blindly join because they get emotionally attached with an instructor saying like, oh, I know this person. I know Dhaval, I know him. I know it's not like that. Even for us, don't believe us, like you might not know. We might be doing all this thing just to, like make you buy a course. That could be the case, right? It can happen. So you have to do some excellent research from your side. If you're not doing research, don't get on a course and then, it's not gonna be fruitful for you, because you don't know what to expect, what is inside, and then you will totally derail. You will waste 6 months and you will get frustrated. I know a lot of people, losing money, paying EMIs and all. Don't get into those kind of things. There is nothing like a pay after placement. There is nothing like a job guarantee. All these are BS. Do not just think about money. Also think about your time and motivation. If you kill both of them, it's going to be very difficult for you to come back to the industry. Trust me on that. All right. Okay. All right. Let's do some. It was a bit of a serious discussion. Let's do something fun, and I'm going to share something on the screen. So, and we are going to classify that based on what really matters to the hiring managers. Okay, let me pull it on the screen. So, able to see my screen, everyone? You're able to see the steer maker?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's start with, there are some tools and different artifacts here. So we are going to categorize them from most important to not important. So we are going to see this from a hiring manager perspective, not from a learner's perspective or an aspirant's perspective. So how much this matters to the hiring manager? That's the question. Okay, everybody can participate here. And all right, Python for a data analyst role.
Quite important. Quite important.
Okay.
I think because
Somewhat
somewhat
important.
somewhat
Okay.
For
important.
data analyst role, yeah, it's somewhat important.
Okay, so I also think it's somewhat important. It's, I would be very particular. It's about the pandas library, data analytics library. That is very important. That is quite important. But Python as a whole is somewhat important, because a lot of people get into this, like they think like, oh, for a data analyst, Python is needed, and they spend a lot of time there. Yes, the certain libraries are important, and it depends upon the role to role. Not all the role requires Python, is my experience. Is everyone agreeing to this? I'm going to put this in somewhat important.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically
Alright.
for the resume selection point of view, Python is important, because in the interviews, eventually you will be focused on SQL and Power BI and Excel. So just for the resume selection point of view, people have to learn Python, especially basics of Python plus pandas and NumPy, and add it to their resume, so that their resume gets strong and their chances of getting selected gets increased.
Yes.
So that's what's important.
So let's say, resume is directly connected to the hiring manager, right? So I think we should put it in the quite important bracket, isn't it? Because if your resume is going to be selected based on that, I feel it's quite important.
Yes, I think
Find a lot
I think
of Python description a lot in a job descriptions, but as I am finding just somewhat important as Python because I didn't find a many jobs description with the Python.
I think it's
Okay.
very subjective to the job description. According to the job description, we put in either quite important or somewhat.
Yeah, I think it's quite important because most job descriptions I see this, but I don't know why. If I ask them like, do you use Python in your job? They don't use it, but it is there in the job description. So from that aspect, I would say it's
Yeah.
quite important. I think hiring managers just want to, they love Python so much, they just want to have it in the resume of the candidate. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but like if we are doing web scraping kind of thing, so for that Python is bit
very
required. So we
not
can,
all the developers jobs require scraping. So yeah, let's put it in the
yeah,
quite important.
yeah.
All right. Okay. My favorite, Excel. What do you think about Excel?
undoubtedly
Most
most
important.
important.
I think
That's
most
not a
important.
question.
Most important.
Yeah, it's the most important.
Thank you.
Yeah, most
Excel is
important
great.
for a fresher.
Anybody denies this that Excel is the most important for from a hiring manager perspective?
Google Sheet, if we have an option.
It's similar. Yeah, Excel, Google Sheets, spreadsheet. Let's put them in the same category, same basket. Okay. All right. Power BI, Tableau. Again, I'm talking about all the BI tools. Power BI is like the representative for the BI tools here. So
Yeah,
please-
most important.
Most important.
Okay.
I would say
It's
it's
most
most important.
All right. And I
Same
think this
with
is
SQL.
Well,
Most
think-
Yeah, it
important.
should be most important.
yeah.
Otherwise, you do not develop the mindset for coding. You know, it's
Yeah.
SQL is like.
Yes, I think SQL is most important both in terms of the job, your work, and as well as the interview. I think most questions still even now are asked based on SQL. Whatever interview questions are asked, so SQL is very important from that point of view. All right. Okay, online certificates. Course certificates.
Not important. Not
Okay.
important.
I agree. Anybody disagrees?
I think it depends on the certification. Like
I
with
think
my
least important or not important.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
it
least
depends
important.
from
Yeah,
where you
it's
are
better.
getting the online certificate and how you have done that. So in that matter, it depends. So like if you're doing Google
I think
certification,
least
so-
important we can say, like,
Yeah.
because there has to
Important.
be something to fill in your resume sometimes.
Okay, the projects, the business projects on the resume.
Most important
Uh-huh.
for
Most
freshers.
important.
Okay, so let's not simply say business projects. Can someone say like what kind of project should be there? Like how many projects per tool, and what kind of project should be that?
So to
For a
start with,
fresher or
Yes, Shashank. Sorry, I was hearing Shashank first. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from the freshers point of view, so at least 2 Power BI projects, one SQL, one Excel, and one Python project, so that it covers all the 4 tools. And particularly talking about projects, so you should include, like freshers should include unguided projects, not easily available on YouTube, or like the one which is everybody is doing. Every ed tech is explaining the projects, so you have to ignore those projects. Focus on unguided projects, and similarly for SQL also, and Excel also, and Python also. So there are a lot of unguided projects also available in the market. Like you can follow Codebasics Resume Project Challenge. You can follow Maven Analytics Challenge. You have Onyx Data Challenges. So those all are unguided Power BI projects. From SQL side, you have 8 weeks of SQL Dynamo Challenge. So you can include that as a unguided project. And similarly, you have you can include it for Excel and Python.
Okay, great. Yes, Bharat, would like to add something?
I think the topic is projects on resume. So what kind of projects you're adding on your resume? When I'm clicking on that project name, it should reroute to the actual work, because I could see most of the namings are visible on the resume, but it should be a clickable link to the hiring manager. They cannot
Very
put
important.
more effort to go and see your work. So that one area, most of the freshers are lagging. I think that needs to be considered. I mean, as Shashank mentioned, yeah, we need to have a multiple combo set of projects which are highly needed.
Yes. Completely agree. Okay. Anybody else? Sai Kumar?
Yeah.
And just want to add one more thing. So that's why GitHub as a platform should not be used, because that is not interactive platform, because
Yes.
nobody will be going as a recruiter to download your data set download your files and see what actually you have done. So that's why, as Bharat said, so you need to have a you need to put your project somewhere on a website where directly all the things are easily accessible. So that is a very important point to consider.
One thing I would recommend is, as Shashank mentioned, that's great. Like your resume needs to cover all tools, but I would recommend even a project should cover all tools, because in industry we wouldn't just clean everything in one tool. We wouldn't get data from one tool. We get data from database. We visualize on Power BI, and then for executives they prefer Excel. So then the Power BI dashboard might not be used, the Excel version might be used. So even when you're doing a project, like say load your data, you load your Excel file into database, clean it up there, load it into Power BI, and then make Excel report out of it, make a Power BI dashboard out of it. If you know a cloud tool, host it somewhere. So if your project is also covering multiple skills, like how you would use it in industry, that would make the project also stand out and also the person stand out from the competition.
Yeah. So for folks who are asking this about the guided and unguided projects, so we have about 5 solid guided projects in our YouTube channel. These are free resources, and you can check the comments there. A lot of people have said that by doing the projects, they have got the job also. Like, you can check the comment section. And there is unguided projects. If you go to the Codebasics website, you can find the resume project challenges. There are 12 project challenges. These are very close to the business. The data set which is created, it's the real-time data set. We have mimicked it to kind of not reveal the original data. So that can be useful to you, right? And of course, you can find other resources as well, but these are the resources that we have from Codebasics side. Okay. All right. Okay. Communication skills. When it comes to communication
Most
skills,
important.
not
Most important.
of English.
Most important.
Yeah. How clearly you are able to communicate yourself, how concisely you are expressing your thoughts. So that I think matters a lot. Your written communication.
Here I would like to add one more. This communication is like in terms of communicating the insights, or in terms of communication like one-to-one, like person-to-person communication or something like this. If it is like communicating the insight, then I think it is the most important thing for the data analyst, because without storytelling, whatever I know there are so many people, there are those who are very good at writing the codes and fetch out the analysis, like whatever figures they are looking for, but they are not able to, present them well. Okay, so that is one of the things which is lacking, like in so many dashboards or maybe the reports we say. So I think this is the most important, as we have already put it there. But I would also here to people to focus upon the PowerPoint as well as a tool, because people are keep on asking me for the tools as well. So I think PowerPoint is the most important tool when because it will take you to the people, to the rest of the people, whatever you have analyzed.
Okay.
I'll just like to add one line. You can make the best projects out there, okay? But if you don't know how to communicate it, then the other person will not be able to understand it. So it's a very important skill to make the other person understand what you are doing. Specifically in interviews, it's very important to know how to come. It's very important.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to add one more point here, when I was in my interview journey, when I was preparing for my interview, in some of the interviews, the most important part is how I am explaining my project, like from the starting to the end, everything. So for these kind of things, one should have a very good, proper communication skills. So this is really important for a fresher to have a good communication skills. And along with that, documentation skills is also important, like how you're documenting your work and how you're storytelling and insights about your data, how you're creating stories about your data. Because if you don't know anything, so you will not be able to present your data, or you will not be able to tell what you want to convey from your data. So this skill is really important.
I think just to add on here, I think if you could see the current trend of a hiring, most of the organizations are added one specific round called storytelling round. They will throw certain data set in front of us, and they'll ask you to come out with certain insights on the next day. They'll give you probably 4 to 24 hours, or if it is in US, they give to 4 to 7 days of time. So the specific agenda of that round is to check your capability. How it's not about simple communication, how effectively you're conveying insights to the stakeholders, because that's what we need in a regular project. How easily we are explaining things to the client, because clients don't know much about technical a lot. They want insights. Whatever the tool you are using, they want a proper understanding of that. It's basically like how you're teaching a 5-year school kid. So that kind of communications skills we just needed, not big technical or big English words.
Exactly. The most of the things, right, Bharat? Like it's not about just using sophisticated words or technical words. In fact, we train people not to use technical words to the non-technical people, because you're really piss them off if you're using some jargons and all those things. If you say to them like, you know what, I did query folding and this did not work out and all, they'll feel pissed off. You'll have to explain to them in the terms that is leading to the business outcome, that talks about the revenue, that talks about the profit and all those things. So that's very important, that which again, like which makes domain knowledge also very important. Domain knowledge combined with communication makes it really important. All right, I think we have spent a lot of time on this topic. Let's move on, because we have a lot of other things to cover. So talking about resume, I think from the hiring manager perspective,
Most important.
that's why a lot of things that you add in the resume, we'll discuss about that. So in resume, there is a section called hobbies. How much do you think it is important?
I think not important.
Not important.
Yeah.
Not important.
In this era, it's not important.
I would say quite important, but since most of you say it's not important, I will put it there. But it's quite important when you put something like the hobbies that are something really unique. Let's say if you're reading books, in the bracket, add the recent books that you have read. Just don't write. I mean, guys, reading book, playing cricket. Do not add it until like you have some solid points to talk about it. Reading book, playing cricket. Everybody does that in our continent. So please be very careful about it. If you're writing reading books, please add the recent books. I always admire when people write the recent books that they have read. Let's say if the books they have read and the books that I have already read, it's matching, there itself we hit a frequency. There is a very good chance that I would want to talk about that book in an interview. I would think, okay, if this person has read this particular book, which means, okay, our thoughts could be aligning, because most of the times the hiring manager are looking for a working partner. They're not looking for like any person. They also want to have a very good working relationship with the person. So they look for a working partner. So from that aspect, if you're adding hobbies, make sure it is something worth it. Okay. All right. Project portfolio website.
Most important.
Most important.
Most important.
Important.
Yeah, it's most important.
I think it used to be quite important, but I think now it has become
It's
most
must have.
the
It's a
competition.
must have.
Okay. All right. And okay, proof of problem solving skills. So first of all, let me explain what I mean by proof of problem solving skills. In your resume, you add a lot of stuff, right? I believe there should be something written saying that you're a problem solver. You solve some problem if you have done that, of course. So do you think that hiring manager looks into things like that? Because I look at that. That's why I wrote it.
Yep, I think the STAR method used. I recommend people use the STAR method to define their experiences or projects, because it is some sort of a concept of problem solving. Like you find a problem, and then you take some action and bring out some results. And as a hiring manager, you want to see like person is a problem solver.
Great. So, Zain, I would like to elaborate what is the STAR method. See, folks, for those of you who don't know, STAR method means situation, task, action, result. So don't say that I worked in Power BI and I created a dashboard. Nobody is interested in that. Instead, you have to say, I created a Power BI dashboard to improve the sales efficiency by 5% or 10%. So that try to put it in a quantitative words so that it makes more sense to the person who's reading that. Okay. So that's STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. There are a lot of YouTube videos. You can just type STAR method and you would find it. Okay. All right. So I would say it's, did we say it's quite important or most important?
It's quite important.
I think so.
Most
Quite important.
Okay.
Right.
The college degree, like how relevant it is, like
You have mentioned college degree and college tier.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those
Both are
two are
different things.
Yes.
I think data analytics have not any relevant college degree. But now came into the market like business analytics, data analytics, or data science. But before that, I don't think so there is a relevant degree because CS part lack the business
But,
knowledge and business part lack the technical knowledge.
but I think just to get selected or maybe get shortlisted, it is important because sometimes it's minimum like a prerequisite kind of thing. So that's why it is important.
STEM degree is
In any
important. I think so.
Yeah, in any job description, you will see like graduation is a prerequisite. So you have to be like you need to have any kind of graduation, either can be BA,
Yeah.
BCA, BCom, anything, but it has to be there. You can't directly pass 12th and then directly apply for the jobs. Most of the
Yeah.
times, like 99% of the times, you will get rejected because of you don't have the graduation degree. So yes, it's necessary and most important.
It's most important. Everyone agrees to it. I would say it's
Yep,
quite
most
important.
important.
It's most like
Yeah, most
All
job
right.
If you are
descriptions
not
have
doing freelancing.
bachelor's, master's, or anything.
Okay, but I mean, like I don't. I mean, personally speaking, I know this is what you guys are reflecting the market, which is right. Personally, we don't believe in college degrees and all. Like at Codebasics, we don't really look for degrees and ask them which degrees they have done. We think it's not relevant, but I understand hiring managers still look at that, so we'll keep it most important. Okay, internships.
Quite
Most
important.
important.
Quite
yes, quite
For a
important.
fresher,
Quite
it's most important also.
Not
know,
even for the freshers, but I think even though those who are transitioning from the other field to this
Yeah.
fields, so it's kind of a bridge between these two. So internships, I think they are important, quite important, we can say.
I think internships are more important for the freshers. Like if they have a fresher, you are looking for the job. So internship will be helpful for them.
and
It
also,
also depends on what
Your experience. So if you are like coming from a different background or you're starting off as a fresher, then internships can be very important
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
most
So
Yeah.
in the comparison of scale, do you think college degree and internships they weigh the same? Like thinking about a hiring manager perspective, would the hiring manager weigh the internship more or the college degree?
To get
And
selected,
another
a college
question will
degree
be
is
the
important for
internship,
sure.
yeah.
But then later on, when you project your experience, internship takes over your college degree. But to get an interview, college degree matters. But then to get the job, internship matters.
And also I would like
Depends
to add a
on
point in terms of internship. I have noticed few folks, who are mentioning internship. It's actually not an internship. They would have done a course which is already pre-recorded and it just written, okay, it's a kind of internship. So they actually add it in the section of internship. I would say in that part, they can mention it's a guided project or because there are no one there to
Yeah.
it's not a real project actually. It's
Yes.
someone already manipulated on all those data. So according to hiring managers, internship is something they went into the real market and then they solved it. So that's what they're actually expecting.
Yes.
I think they should code that in their resume.
Okay.
And also we need to talk about whether it is online or virtual internship or it's a
Yeah.
offline internship. So offline internships are more important
More
and more
important.
useful than virtual internships.
Certainly. Yes. Yes. Okay, college tier.
somewhat important.
somewhat important.
Yeah, somewhat important.
What if
Perfect. Okay, so I agree, college tier, we already discussed about it. So guys, when I say about personality, right? Personality means like how you talk, how you sit and how you present yourself. It's not about how you look, it's about how you present yourself to the hiring manager. How much does it matter?
In virtual interviews, I think so. It's not too much matter, but in physical on-site interviews, it is quite and
Yeah.
most important.
it's quite important.
All right, it's put in the quite important. Okay, related experience, I think that's we know it's very important.
Most important.
Yeah. And domain knowledge.
Most important.
Most
Most
important.
Everybody agrees to most important domain knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
course.
Quite
important.
important. We cannot expect considering freshers as well. So we'll not be able to expect much from them. So we can consider as a quite important
Yeah.
what I would say.
So how do freshers, I have something to add on that. How can freshers get domain knowledge? They don't have any experience.
Case study
Yeah.
solving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are different ways to build the knowledge for freshers. There are one thing is going to research articles where they understand about the company and the business. that is needed. And it is not about understanding all the domains is needed for a fresher, because they will be out of this margin. Okay, they have to tackle what kind of booming projects in the market, like finance, operations and supply chain, and telecom. All these sectors are booming. These kind of domain knowledge is needed for a hiring managers to be selected by the candidates. So they have to go through a step-by-step methodologies to understand at least 10 to 15% of the domain knowledge. Finance, what kind of main KPIs involved in the finance. Then next come to marketing, what kind of KPIs involved in the marketing. Then go to operations. It's not like you have to go in deep and understand about the formulas. Let's say, for example, in a ratio analysis, you have to go through numerator and denominator. How does it define? No, it's not needed. Just you have to know the basics at least of understanding. It's needed.
I would like to.
And that is
yes, please go ahead.
and that is easily available on Google. For example, if you are targeting supply chain, you just go to Google and type supply chain domain, and you will see a lot of blogs and articles. You just have to read. You just have to understand what are the different segments of, for example, supply chain. So you have inventory management, risk management, reverse logistics. So you have to understand what is the exact segment, what is the business value related to those segments, and when you will understand the business behind all those things, then you will understand the KPIs that you have to calculate on the dashboard, right? So it is, if you are targeting one domain, try to do at least 2 projects, but before moving to projects, have domain knowledge by reading the articles, read more articles, read more blogs, and understand what kind of business and business value it is creating through those segments. Once you understand that, as a fresher, that is what is in your control. You have to read the articles, and that's how you will gain some kind of knowledge from those articles, and then try to implement those things, those kind of business values on the dashboards while creating the projects.
Great point, Shashank. Good one. Yes, we'll just take one more thing. Vyas, please go ahead. Like you were raising your hand.
Yeah, thank you. So I think for domain knowledge, I believe that people can just keep their ears and eyes open, right? Most of us are consumers on Swiggy, Amazon, Netflix. Just take a step back and understand what's the steps involved in the order process. For example, see what are the important KPIs at each step, right? This is something everyone can do. This can be a great starting point. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Most of the tech industry companies that operate today, we are actually customers. So I think that's a easy way to understand, specific businesses, and then you can take it from there, right? Go deeper into one domain, whether it's marketing or finance or whatever.
That's an amazing point, yes. I always feel that whenever I open Swiggy, Zomato, right, I always see those things. I understand the processes behind that when I was not a data analyst. And when I was not a data analyst, I used to look into other things. Like whenever I go to Amazon, I just understand, okay, what is the price, the percentage they give. I understand why they're giving the percentage. Then they understand by giving the discount, they get more customers. Then they will compensate on the volume. So these kind of things I used to understand back then. Now I do the same thing with Swiggy and Zomato. So one thing I will say, right, you rightly pointed out. So for freshers who don't have the domain knowledge, please do this. Focus on KPIs. What are KPIs? Key performance indicators. The most important KPIs that all the companies in this world, any company that exists in this world, they will have these KPIs, which is revenue, expense, and profit and loss, which is like profit margin, profit, and all those things. These are the important KPIs. Anything, all the functions, they will all finally go to this KPI. Supply chain, marketing, sales, finance, they will all align at this level of KPI. So try to understand this KPI and start doing projects related to this KPI, which is again resume project challenges you can check. So again, when you're doing resume project challenges, there are different domains and different functions. By domains, I mean, like there is an FMCG domain, there is this automotive domain. These are domains. Functions are nothing but like HR, finance, sales, marketing. These are functions. A combination of domain, functions, and KPIs is what is called as domain knowledge. So if you, as a fresher, of course, you cannot get a practical experience of it, but you can get a theoretical knowledge of it and also apply that practically by doing some unguided projects. So this way you can compensate to some extent. Of course, this cannot replace the real experience that you will get from company, please understand, but it will compensate. In an interview, you will be able to talk some sense at least, if not nothing, right? That's very important. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the most important. All right, LinkedIn profile, the last one.
Most important.
Most important.
I would say most important.
Because of this, we are here.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly same.
So I would say that this in during my time, right, 2015, when I was looking for a job, it was kind of not important. then it became least important, like somewhat important, and then it climbed its rank to the most important now. It's just a differentiating factor, right? Like it's just something that, that differentiates you from the crowd. So today it's LinkedIn, tomorrow it can be different. Don't say after 2 years, if you're watching this video after 2 years, saying like, oh, you said LinkedIn is important, now nobody is taking from LinkedIn. Of course, you have to update yourself to the time. Like project portfolio website is important now, but what happens if everybody starts doing the project portfolio website? You'll have to do something different. That's how the market is. Everything is competitive, folks. In those days, back in those days, just adding those projects and certificates will make you stand out. So you added those certificates, right? And having a college degree will make you stand out. Let's say if you've done an engineering back in those days, not everybody does engineering, right? In my in my father's generation, like very few people have done the engineering thing. So that itself is a standout feature. So they got a job very easily. Now we just followed them blindly. We all started doing engineering, and there are so many engineering colleges, blindly opened and start filling the seats. Now every second person is an engineer, and we are not getting jobs because, of course, engineers are saturated. You'll have to do something different, and this keeps changing. I don't know, like the rate at which changes is very fast now because of AI and a lot of advancements happening. You will have to just catch up to the change. If you just come to the comment section and just keep complaining, oh, job market is crazy, job market is not there are no jobs, you will just end up doing that for the rest of your life. Stop complaining and start changing your life. You hold your life, hold yourself accountable for your own life. Don't just be like other people, like simply complaining. Of course, you can complain, provide criticism on the job market and whatever, but job market is something uncontrollable. Nobody controls it. Like, is there any single person who's sitting and controlling the job market? It's a multivariate equation, folks. Nobody controls it. And anybody who says 100% job guarantee is lying because they cannot control it. They don't know how to. They're just lying because it's not practically possible. So job market, just understand it's just a law of universe, and you don't have any control over it. But what you can control is like how you prepare to the scenarios. That's something you need to focus on. All right. I hope this particular session helped you with that. And I think we'll move on to the next section where we sourced a lot of questions from the community itself. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because we don't need the screen anymore. And I'll just pull up the questions and ask one by one. Okay, these questions are sourced from LinkedIn and the YouTube community post, which we posted 2 days back. The first question is, the first section is about fresher opportunities, which we discussed before. I'll just pick questions which is not discussed so far. Okay, how to gain domain knowledge for a fresher, we just discussed, so we're not going to cover that. Okay, what kind of projects we covered it? What kind of soft skills are required? We haven't discussed much about soft skills. Like, who would like to answer that? What kind of soft skills a fresher needs to get inside the job?
I think only two main things are required over here. The first thing is that whatever you do, you know how to communicate that using a simple English language. If you are able to do that, that is one thing, and that is completely fine. The second thing is, if you are creating any kind of project, you should know, for example, if you are creating any kind of Power BI report, so you should understand how you should know how to explain your report. If you know that thing also, then you're good as a data analyst. Nothing else you require. Good storytelling plus good communication skill with a simple English language. That's it from my point of view.
Great points. Very concise. Thank you, Shashank. Muskan?
I want to add one more thing to this. When we talk about soft skills, right, it should be demonstrated in your resume. There should not be a separate skill section for that. When you write a job, when you write your work experience or internship, they should be demonstrating that you are a problem solver, you are a good communicator. That's very important when you are working with soft skills.
Good point. Great. Okay, there was one interesting comment in the community section. So somebody asked, like, could anyone, like, we just posted, right? Like, we all have an experience of 2 to 7 or 8 years. And one person posted, and there is a lot of likes for that comment. The person posted, could anyone donate us a few years of experience, please? Because that's what the companies are asking us. So what can we do for them? How can we donate our experience to them?
Networking.
Yes, networking.
Yes.
I think the way I see is whatever we share, whatever everyone shares on LinkedIn, it's part of their experience. So that is being shared. It's not donated, it's being shared. And it's like a light. It's not something we are donating. It's not something going away from our hand. But I think people need to be very, very much active on those platforms and then compare multiple information and see what is the best for them, right? And again, not follow too many people because it will just mess your mind. Just pick few people, follow them, and if it works for you, it's good. If it doesn't work for you, change the people. And I don't like to use the word influences, but if you a person whoever is helping you on the internet, right, just follow them, right? If it is working for you, good. If it is not working for you, change it. Go to another person, go follow other people, and you can practically pick experience from everyone. Everybody has something to share. You can just pick from it. All right.
I would like to add one thing. There is a way to build real experience without working in a company. If you are contributing to open source, for example, you're not working for a company, but that experience is real. In our YouTube channel, if you look at past 5-6 videos, you will find one video of a guy from Kerala getting full-time ML engineer job in Bangalore after his 12th, and he got a very decent salary. How did he do that? In the 11th grade, he started contributing to open source, built some LLM open source package, and based on that experience, he received 2 offers. So imagine his friends are figuring out which college to go to, and whatever salary they are going to get after 4 years probably, this person is already getting after 12th, and he had 2 job offers. And this is just 2 to 3 months back when everybody is complaining that job market is weak. So you just need to be creative. See, if you do the things which every single person in the world is doing, which is get 100 certificates, apply in 1,000 jobs, and just keep on nagging. If you continue to do the things which thousands of people are doing, you will be in the same situation that those thousands of people are going through. If you just be little creative and change your approach, then there are ways to get an experience. So this one is one, right? Like contributing to open source. Second one is participating in hackathons, and Codebasics also conducts resume project challenges. And many people have got a job, okay? If you go through LinkedIn post, you will realize that. Third way is there is a website called Omdena, which hosts, it's kind of like a social enterprise where NGOs come to them with their AI projects, and then you can volunteer for those projects. Obviously, you don't get paid, but you're getting pay in terms of that valuable experience. I know some people personally who worked with Homdena, and based on that experience, they got a job. So there are ways to build an experience, a real life experience, even without having a job.
Great. Thanks for adding that. Okay, so there is another question about freelancing. What is the scope of freelancing for a data analyst, experienced and fresher? So people who are doing freelancing, your experience can talk about it, and fresher, anybody would like to add? I think Ashish, you can talk about it. Freelancing opportunities
Yeah.
for experience.
Yeah, sure. Freelancing opportunities are always be there. There are a lot many platforms, but personally, I would suggest, because not everybody is getting enough job on the freelancing platforms, or maybe some platforms are there, but jobs are there, but they may not be paying you as good as what you are thinking. Okay, because there is a high level of competition there. But definitely, yes. Again, everything zero down to the only thing, like what exactly you have done, not exactly in terms of the experience, but about your project portfolio. If you have a better portfolio with you, then definitely you are able to steal some good deals out of it. So that is for sure.
Great. Okay. Sudarshan, yes?
Can I add more?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Go
if
ahead.
you are experienced person as a data analyst, so freelancing would be a good part. If you are not, you are just getting a start. So it would be a struggling for you, like you have to build a portfolio project, maintain a different sort of gigs like operation and retail and etc. Because obviously the market is really competitive. So you have to work accordingly. And I would suggest if you are just a beginner, so you can start from a small projects. Like there are some sort of Excel projects, dashboarding projects that are very easy as compared to the experience projects. So I will recommend to add those projects into your portfolio website and build that projects. Yeah.
Great, Nimra. So, Sudarshan, can you and Sashank, when you're talking, can you please address this point? How a fresher can get a freelancing opportunity? Is it possible for them, or what is the scope currently?
Yeah. So, there is definitely a scope in, freelancing for data analytics. I think recently, CNBC also released kind of a survey which says one of the most demanding skills in 2024 is data analytics. So, of course, there are scopes. So, when we talk about freshers, right? So, I won't say it's easy to get. It's of course, it's difficult. Someone who needs, who needs someone to do the work, they should believe that, okay, this guy can do the work, right? So for freshers, I would say, there are one conventional ways to, as already mentioned. So you just go to that website which is already there and apply and try your luck there. One more thing is people who's already doing an freelancing. Let's say one of your friend might be doing a freelancing, and then he might get a lot of works, but he'll not have that much time to work on, right? You can first start with helping them. So basically, you will get to understand how the real project is. Unless until you goes into the work, so what's actually going on. So we'll get to know what's the project. So that is when we can go to other people, and then you talk about the experience. So because right now you might not have real experience in your paper, but you have in your mind, okay, this is what actually going on. And I would like to mention one more point here. So try to attend events and meet up clubs around the places. But the motto, of course, the motto of that, attending that event should not be, okay, I'm going to get project and I'm going to get paid. It should be the byproduct, personally, I would say. So go and attend, connect with people. So for example, right, so I started going to events in Bangalore. So I just randomly went, me and my friends. So we got an opportunity to talk to other people. Suddenly, there was an event for startup founders. So we just went and they asked me to introduce myself. I was like, okay, I was doing Tableau, and if someone wants any help on the Tableau, just reach out to me. I never expect someone will come to me and say, okay, I need a Tableau. But four of the founders, came to me actually and then said, hey, I'm just looking for it. I didn't kind of find a time to create dashboards to present to his investor. So basically, he has some things to do with that, Tableau or Power BI. And then he asked me, could you please help me with that? It's not about, getting paid. We never discussed about, how much we are going to pay for it. But it's more about building a relationship. I liked what he was doing. He was doing something in related to bamboo sustainable work. So it was really interesting. So, getting to know these things and talking to these people would really help for freshers as well. They don't care whether we are freshers or we are experienced. The only thing they ask me is, hey, could you please show me your work which you did? Or could you please explain what's the project you worked? So I was able to explain to them. So I would say this could be a better opportunity for fresher as well. And online credibility, as everybody mentioned, that's of course it's not only for freshers, it's also for experience. And when we talk about online experience, right? So it's not only LinkedIn. There are other platforms as well. Medium, let's say we are trying to solve an optimization problem in machine learning, and we are able to do it in a better way, which is not already done. It might not be an innovative approach, but this is something other people are looking for to implement in their work. So if you write it in a Medium post or anywhere, this could also help. They'll definitely reach out to you if they couldn't do the same thing which you already mentioned. So yeah, I think these could help, I think.
Great points. I personally agree with that meetup thing, right? Meeting
Yes.
people in person, because when you meet a person in in the physical world, you build an extra bond of trust that doesn't normally develop in just with the online world. So whenever there are some meetups around you, there are some clubs or something related to data, whatever, right? Like you went for a startup, founder thing, and then there you found your freelancing opportunity. So like that, I would recommend people to join most of that. And great. Yes, Sashank, please.
You're on mute.
Sashank, you're on mute, I guess. You're not able to hear you. Oh, sorry, we lost your voice. No.
Not.
I
You can't
I
hear
think he
Shashank.
has something wrong with his
Or
mic and
maybe
all.
check your mic. Okay, Shashank, we can get back to you. You can please check your mic and come back. So we'll just go to the next question. So yeah, the other common question asked is like, what does a normal working day of a data analyst looks like? So yeah, maybe someone like Raghavan could answer this.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Zain, go ahead,
a
please.
normal day of a data analyst look like for me, I'm working remotely, so it is totally different from my startup working experience. So I will tell about my current experience. I start my day with a black coffee. You need to be very active on the whole day. So and then see some my messages on the Ding or Slack, like what is going on, who has tagged me, and then we have a weekly stand-up meeting where we set up the priorities. So as a data analyst, we work on three types of projects mostly. One is the, you can say, urgent ad hocs, like there is a bug in the pipeline, data is not working properly, and there is a ask from the stakeholder, like we have to do some analysis on some performance related issues, and it has a tight deadline of 1 or 2 days. Second sort of work is like weekly reportings and automations or dashboarding part, where we have to automate multiple reports and projects and build some dashboards. And the third one is the long-term projects, which require a lot of meetings with the stakeholders and lot of data validation. And it's like quite 6 months to 1 year project where you talk with the ground teams and C-level stakeholders what they required, and you use tools like mostly SQL, Excel in your day-to-day life, and some visualization tools for dashboarding purpose.
Great, great, cool. So it's not just about coding or just building dashboard, because most people fantasize building dashboard because they see a lot of 15 minutes dashboard building courses, and they think it's all about building dashboards. Folks, I'm telling, like 80% of your job will not be about building dashboard. It's about
Exactly.
you will you will hunt for data. You will not even find the data, you will hunt for data, because getting the right data is still a challenge. Not all the companies have a great data governance, so data governance is a challenge in most of the companies. So we'll be hunting for the right data. Even if you get the right data, you'll have to validate with some sources. So data cleaning, data hunting, gathering data sources itself will take some 30-40% of your time. And then you talk to stakeholders, not one time, multiple times. You have to gather requirements from them, and then sometimes there is something called feature creep, which means like initially they will say they want something, and during the course of the project the requirements will change because the business requirements are dynamic. So based on that, the requirement from stakeholder also changes. So that's where the stakeholder management comes into play. How do you manage their expectations? How do you not burn yourself, or how do you not give them something which is subpar? All those things, comes into the role of a data analyst. And then yeah, eventually you'll build the dashboard. That's the fun part, but that's not the majority of the
The
part.
final part.
Yeah.
That's the like final part.
That's the
Communication plays a
easiest
key role
part.
in data analyst role.
Yes. Yes. Anybody else would like to add?
Yeah, I think dashboarding is the easiest part of our job. The data gathering, data cleaning is the toughest part.
Yes.
I can second with what Sai has said. So, in most cases, especially in large organizations, first of all, understanding the business problem is really important, and trying to find the right data sources that will help you to solve the business problem is the most part that gives the headache for a data analyst. Dashboard is something that everything is clean, your data is ready to be visualized. That's the last part. Even when I started my career as a fresher, I was thinking, oh, dashboards are looking cool. So that's something that I think I should do. But only when I started working on the projects, I realized that, okay, there is so much background that is not visible in the dashboard. So, getting to know the business problem, finding the right data sources, applying the business logics on cleaning the data, and then bringing it to a dashboard is a process that not many people who try to get into this field are not aware of.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll just take one question because it's very relatable to this topic from the chat. So, do multiple data analysts work in one project? How is it normally? Like, can anyone say about it?
Well, you can say that yes, if the project is quite large, like combination of data analysts and business analysts are working on the same project. For example, there are multiple departments. So due to the workload and close estimation of the time, so half of the department divided into one analyst and half of the requirement divided into the other data analyst. Similarly, business analysts are mostly working to talk with the stakeholders, getting and getting the requirements from the stakeholder and communicating it with the data analyst so that the work can be done on the time.
Correct. I agree with that. I've worked in projects where like there are some 2 or 3 data analysts, but normally the work is shared between them in terms of different aspects of the project. Because in a particular dashboard I built, it was a combination of multiple dashboards. So we just separated that part and then combined it together. But in medium-sized projects, which is ranging from 3 weeks to 4 weeks or 6 weeks, normally one person works. It's not.
The fun fact is, like,
Yeah.
in terms of visualization, I worked on only 2 visualizations in my current company. One is the linear trend, and the other is the pivot table or tabular data.
Okay.
Stakeholders required very easy interpretations.
All right.
Am I
Okay.
audible?
Yes,
Audible?
Shashank, you're audible now. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that it depends on company to company. So if it's a MNC company, so in general, what I have seen is that you will be having a team. If you are a Power BI developer, you will be having 2 to 3 developers in a single team. And if you are targeting, or if you are getting recruited in a product-based company or a big four company, mostly you will be contributing alone. You will be alone there as a data analyst. So that is what my experience is, that if it's a product-based or big four, mostly chances are that you will be contributing alone for the client. And if it's a MNC company, you will be going as like with a team. So most of the time, this is what happens in general.
Correct. Correct.
And can I add that freelance thing, because I wanted to add one important point there.
Yes,
So
please.
if somebody is going for a freelance, so I would like to give few examples. So recently I connected with few people who were doing freelance work, right? So if since they were doing that, so they put that on their resume. And once they put that, and if they actually give the interview, so while after giving the interviews, their people got rejected just because they had mentioned that they have done freelance. Why? Because the recruiters thought that this person will continue to do the freelancing even if they recruit. So that this is a very important point, because I have seen 2 to 3 people suffering from this, that if you are doing any kind of freelance work, don't put it on resume, because it creates a negative impression in the recruiter's mind, and it might go against you from the selection point of view. So just wanted to share, because this is important to know.
That's an interesting perspective, Shashank. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. So there is one more question, Shashank. Probably you can answer, or Muskan can answer. So people are asking how to apply for big four or big tech companies like Microsoft, being a fresher.
Okay, I'll start first. So generally, when you are trying to go ahead with these kind of companies, the competition is going to be a lot. So the best way to apply is to go cold mail, ask for a referral from employees who are willing to refer, so that you decrease the competition there. So I think that that's a major step that you should take in consideration. You can also cold mail the recruiters if you know about them. And please be, when you're like writing the referral message, please be thorough. Like, what exactly do you need? What's the job ID? Please don't come to any person and say that I have XYZ skills. Can you refer me? It is automatically going to be rejected by the other person. And you generally have one message that you can send with LinkedIn Premium in case the person is not connected with you. So utilize that message well, highlight your experience, what job ID, keep your resume link public, very important, and add that in the message that I am interested and why you should refer me. That's the important part. So I think to decrease the competition, this is one of the major things that you should do. Second thing should be the resume that you have, etc. That should be very ATS compliant, because companies are checking for the ATS score. Generally, when you make the resume, we forget to check the ATS score and see what's actually the score. Try to keep it at least above 80, because that's a good score in if you're talking about it. And this is the second step. For the third steps, like, talk to the people who have recently given interviews or who are recently selected, just to understand what are the rounds, what kind of questions were asked. You can even go ahead and check it online, recently asked Microsoft questions or Amazon, Google, whatever questions you want, and you will get a very crisp understanding of how the things can be when you are going to be interviewing with the company.
Great. Okay, great points, Muskan. Shashank, would you like to add something, or should we move on to the next question?
Yeah. I just wanted to add one more point. So as Muskan said, so yes, it's important to create a ATS friendly resume. That is one thing. And the second thing is that the most important thing, that you have to tailor your resume as per the job description first. So first you have to make your resume relevant, more relevant as per the job description, and then you have to go for referrals. And again, from the referral point of view, also you have to be smart enough here. you should not target those people who are very much active on LinkedIn working in that particular company, because obviously if that person is active much, more people will be reaching out to that person for the referrals for the same job ID. So try to focus more on those people who are less noticeable on LinkedIn and who are working in that particular company. And if you'll go to them and ask for the referral, then only your chances of getting the referral will be much more than what you will be getting normally through different people who are active much. So that is also an important point to consider.
Great. All right. And cool. So there is one question from Shahid Memun. He's asking, is it possible for someone to get a remote job in India or abroad as a fresher? Because there might be many people who are single child of their parents and cannot leave their parents alone. So Shahid, first of all, I appreciate your thought of not leaving your parents alone and staying with them. And I would like to answer this question because getting a data analytics job itself is currently tough in the market, and getting a remote job and as a fresher, you would need a lot of luck for that. Without luck, this is not going to be possible. Of course, I'm assuming that you're going to put all those efforts, all those project portfolio website, whatever we have been telling so far. Let's say you have done all of that, and top of that, you would still need some, luck for the right person to find you on LinkedIn or somewhere and offer you that remote job. Because remote jobs are reducing, post COVID, it's not increasing, it's just reducing. The more and more it's reducing, and hybrid companies are becoming like full-time on-site, and remote jobs are becoming hybrid. So we can see that the trend is moving more towards come to office. Okay. All right. I think we have answered almost all the questions. Anybody else wanted to add any other points? Now we can take some questions from the chat as well. Or if you have missed any point that you thought you wanted to discuss, you can add.
I think, yeah.
Please go ahead.
I just wanted to touch upon the resume part, because, most of the freshers are, when they're building their resume according to the job description, they use ChatGPT. It's absolutely fine. But, they add few quantitative metrics in terms of the numbers. I would say like 25%, 95%, they improved in any of the project. They mention in that aspect. But when they come to interview, obviously, whether it's an experienced candidate or a fresher, we should need to have a reasoning or a logical explanation behind that number. I may ask you as a hiring manager, you mentioned that 95% improved rejection rate or automation rate. I may ask you a certain question that, can you explain what was a before situation, after situation, how did you arrive at that 95% number? So I think most of the candidates need to consider whatever the wordings in terms of numbers they are adding into the resume, they should have a back-end story to tackle the interview. So, which I've seen in many of the cases. I just wanted to help people.
Very good point. Yes. Because if you're not able to explain that, then it means that you have not really done that. Okay. All right. And there is one question about projects as well. So folks, again, if you go to the YouTube channel, Codebasics, you would find a lot of guided projects. There are around 5 business related guided projects around sales, revenue, and there is one cricket project as well, which is a very exciting project. You can try that. And if you go to the codebasics.io website, you will find a lot of unguided projects. There are 12 unguided projects there, and with data sets. So all these are free. So I would say this to all the freshers, right? In the initial time, do not go for any course. Do not buy any course. Do not invest your money. Invest your time first. And there is one project I will always recommend. Type sales insights on Codebasics. You would find that project, right? Try that project first. It's a free project. If you really like that project, it means you like to become a data analyst, and then start researching about like what are the things needed for data analysts. Start researching about the market, whether this is the right time to become a data analyst. Do your own research, and then if you want, go and buy a structured course which will help you. Do not go and straight away buy a structured course. You will not, it will not suit everyone. Some people it might work, but it will not suit most of the people, because you are getting into something without knowing what it is, right? You don't know what to expect, how to, you can be genuinely a person who don't like data analytics. It's not that something that everyone should like data analytics. It's not something, there is a lot of thing in the market like data analyst, but it is not true, right? Not everyone likes to become a data analyst. See, I love numbers. For me, this is the perfect job, but it is not the same for you. Probably you will be a better architect. You will be a better something else. You'll have to find that for yourself. Okay. Yes, Muskan, Zain or Muskan, please go ahead. You want to add something?
Okay.
Okay.
I have done some one-on-one sessions with the people. They have a quite good portfolio and portfolio website and done very good projects. But one of the thing when I opened up their LinkedIn account, it is quite blank. They have nothing post about their projects. They just attach it on the resume. So what I recommend to them, like start posting their projects in the form of some screenshots of their dashboard or some sort of presentation on in the form of LinkedIn post, as it helps to get them visibility and add that those projects in their featured section. How it is going to help them, like it is not like that recruiters start to approach them for the jobs, but when they go for an interview, like when hiring manager open up their resume, most of the chances are they open up their LinkedIn account. So when they get the visibility of their project in the form of in their featured section and post, the hiring manager, you can say that around 60% get the positive biasness towards that person, that he's a good fit, he has done those projects and built good presentations on it. So I recommend most of the people like start posting their projects in the form of LinkedIn post and attach into their feature section, not the viral posts or memes in the feature section, the projects and relevant presentations in their feature section.
Very good point. Very good point. Thanks for sharing that, Zain. All right. Yes, Muskan.
Yeah, I want to share two things. First thing is that when you are checking the reviews of the course, go and check with the people who have actually done it, because most of the reviews you'll see, even on some websites, are going to be paid. Okay, so that can be hampered with. Everybody here knows about few courses that we all kind of are not happy with, that are a hoax. You can even check the reviews. In certain websites, they'll be having like 9.8 rating, 9.5 rating. But when you come to some, websites that are doing it in the right way, they're not taking money from you for the reviews, you'll see that there are actually mixed reviews. So please check the reviews in that sense, that from where you are checking it. Is it like Quora? Is it something like that? So please check it. Second thing I want to call out is even when people come to me that I have done everything, I have made projects, I have made good portfolio site, I am active on LinkedIn, I'm still not getting a job. Sometimes people start self-doubting themselves that there's some issue in me. You should also consider that sometimes the situation of market is like that, that you are not able to get a job because of that. Okay. So please consider that. Don't start self-doubting yourself. Ki, I'm not good for anything. I should take mentorship. I'm missing something. Sometimes you can give 100%, but the situation around you cannot be favorable. So please keep on knocking the door. Someday someone will come and open. Please just don't stop and give up.
Great points, Muskan. See, I'll just take one question before giving it to Ashish. So this particular session is recorded. It will be available it will be available to watch later. A lot of questions that I'm seeing now, it's already been answered. You just go back to the session and start watching it. You will get most of your questions answered. Okay. And in the description, you will find the LinkedIn profile of the panelist here. You can reach out to them if you want. You can see their content, what they're posting. You can reach out to them. All right. Yes, Ashish, please go ahead. You're on mute.
Yeah. Nowadays, this is something in the connection what you just mentioned about the data being data analyst. Like nowadays, so many people are, even though approaching me personally or maybe on the LinkedIn, like I just wanted to transition from X so and so job to the data analysis and all. So that is always my question, like why you want to transition first? Because even though they are very much young, or maybe some people are in their mid part of their life, or maybe some people like over the 40s like me. Okay. So the thing is, what my suggestion is, like as you said, like you have to find out the combination of two. One is your talent and one is your happiness, like where you find the happiness. And again, maybe you find the happiness, but you are not talented enough to pursue that particular thing. Like suppose, let's say I'm talking about, I do like to play the guitar. Okay, it gives me the happiness, but maybe I'm not talented enough to master the skill. Okay, even though if I keep on doing for 1 year, 2 years, maybe I would be able to play it, but not as naturally as some of the musicians play. Similarly, data analysis is kind of thing, because even though I found my skill set after 45 years of my age, I've been doing work in so many different organizations and different functions, as well as in the different industries as well. But what I found out, even though I have always found myself to be very much happy to find out, to dig out the problems through the data. Maybe at that time, data was not the particular word, people are using, but what I was doing is digging into data, in the facts, and try to find out the solution out of it. Okay, and that is what I am doing right now through the dashboards. So maybe some people, those who are watching this particular thing, maybe just try to find out, not just because the data analyst job is in top list right now in 2024. Just don't, because of this, go for it. Just try to find out whether you are able to do it or not, whether you are good with the numbers, whether you are good with the storytelling, whether you like to solve the problem. Then only it makes sense. There is one movie, Lakshya. In Lakshya, there is one very good dialogue, like, भले ही आप घास काटने वाला बनो, but सबसे अच्छा घास काटने वाला बनो. So it is something like this, this is in connection with like the current trend of the jobs. Maybe jobs are not good, but if you are master of it, then definitely you will definitely find your place in the industry.
Cool, great, thank you,
Yeah,
Ashish.
thank you.
I think we have collected good insights. So let's just take one final thing. Let's keep it very crisp, folks, because we are way out of time. I respect all your time as well. So yeah, I think Raghavan, and Sai, you just have some final points to add. Please go crisp on that.
Yep. So in the entire discussion, we didn't talk much about networking, but along with that, I see a lot of negative sentiment in the chats going on about the job market. So I can quote maybe one example of a person whom I personally know, who was a fresher. So he was a master's MCA graduate this year. When he was in his final year, he started attending the meetups that I have been conducting in Chennai. So that gave him an opportunity to interact with professionals and other aspirants and get to know what is the market situation, what are the insights that is required to get into a job. And surprisingly, he was like not just attending the events, but was also helping me facilitating them. So it helped me introduce him to other professionals as well. And in one of those meetups, he was able to meet one of the founders of a startup in Chennai, and he pitched himself to him, and he got an internship when he was in his college. And after 6 months of successfully completing that internship, he is now a junior data analyst in that same startup. And he is someone who was a fresher, who was attending all these events, doing everything that we were discussing in the session. So rather than blaming the things that are outside our control, it's better to focus stuff that is something that is under our control and believe the process. I'm a huge MS Dhoni fan, so I would say like trust the process than the results.
Great point, Raghavan. I think that's something that everyone needs to hear. All right. I think, we'll wind up. I think, Vyas, you want to add something? Please go ahead. Sai Kumar.
So I just wanted to cover the point what Raghavan said, like networking is something that we haven't covered on larger part, but it can play a very important role. So these days, it's not just about like what you know, but then who you know, who knows you matter a lot. So if you know, like if you are better, you might be in top one percentile, but then if the opposite person or hiring manager doesn't know what you know, it will not help you. So let the world know what you know, and then share your knowledge. So post about it. It doesn't have to be posting. You can write blogs, articles, or go to events and present or talk with people. You might not get replies, but let's say you texted 100 people, you might only get 10 replies, but like don't back off. So think it in another way. To get replies from 10 people, you got to text 100 people. So think of it in that way. So network as much as you can, share your knowledge. So eventually with time, it will be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like that's a great point, Sai. And because again, networking plays a major role. See, again, talking about some of the comments I see, right? Like, data analytics job profile is overrated, folks. Being a data analyst myself, I would say that I don't know why it is fantasized so much that every second person is starting a YouTube channel just to say that make a dashboard in 10 minutes and you will become a data analyst. That's the most bullshittest thing I've heard. Again, making a dashboard is not equal to becoming a data analyst. And they just made this look very easy. Like anyone can become a data analyst, right? Like just spend this 1 hour. Just what's I see this crazy thumbnails that says in 45 minutes you make this dashboard, in 10 minutes you make this dashboard. Guys, when you go to business, when you work as a real data analyst, nobody will ask you to make a dashboard in 30 minutes or 45 minutes. If you say that you're going to make a dashboard in 45 minutes, they'll think like you are a stupid data analyst. Who would make a dashboard in 45 minutes? The businesses don't need you to make a dashboard in 45 minutes. They want you to provide insights to the business which will help in increasing the revenue or profit or whatever, right? It is always focused on the business outcome. It is never focused on the time, like, oh, you just made. So let's say you are working for 8 hours. In 45 minutes, if you make 10 dashboards, is the business is going to be happy? No, there are a lot of dashboards, laying on the business, and nobody is even looking at that. Again, making dashboards is not about data analyst. And if you make some fancy dashboards, pretty dashboards, don't think you're eligible to become a data analyst. It is not. And all those courses, all those master classes, all those bullshit YouTube videos talking about like, do this in 10 minutes, do this in 15 minutes, you will become this, you will become that. Please ignore them. They are just doing that to get views. They are just doing that to get more, fame, or just to get a following. It's very easy. You can already see a lot of people are following them. For what reason? It's because they're telling that something is very easy and they're getting the following. And again, it's the point is to, either to get fame or to sell the courses, right? So again, if you are a data analyst fresher, one takeaway I will give you, the major takeaway is that go for free resources first. Go for free resources, do them first. If you like it, if you get understanding, then only pay for, even if you're paying 200 rupees or 300 rupees, do not pay without doing some research or doing free resources. You're wasting your money and time if you're not doing your research. That should be the major takeaway of this session for everyone. All right. Yes. I think we'll just wind up with Vyas and Kritika. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I just have one suggestion to everyone. So you're learning the skills, all that is fine. Start sharing whatever you're learning on LinkedIn. Many people are not doing it. I think this can already be a big game changer. And in terms of getting into data analytics, I really love this concept called Ikigai, right? So you understand if you like data analytics, that is one thing. You understand if you're good at it, can you do it in the long term? Think about this also. I think that can also help you sustain over a good period of time. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Great.
Yes, I would like to add one thing. Like, I still consider myself as a fresher, and because of networking and everything, I'm here today. So, as a fresher or who is an aspiring data analyst, do networking as much as you can, but not in a just one way. Networking is always two-way. You have to be not that much just asking other person about the job referrals. You have to understand and you have to learn from other perspective also. Like if somebody is more experienced from you, learn from them. Like what mistakes or like what they have done in their career, you can also apply to your career. And market yourself as much as you can and do projects, and don't just writing things in resume, fake things, I would say. This will not lend you any job opportunity. So it will harm you in the job or in the interview process. So this is what I have for the freshers. Thank you.
Great. Good points. Good points, everyone. Again, thank you all, everyone, for joining this session and helping out the aspirants. So, Dhaval, would you like to add some points before we wind up?
Yeah, so as folks see it, we are conducting all this session. We have so many videos. The thing that is hard in today's world is to practice. All the gyan, all the knowledge, machine learning videos, data analyst videos from MIT, everything is there. What is needed is the practice. So if you're watching one motivational video after another, then third video, fourth video, see, it's not going to help you. The art of getting things done is to act. So spend less time in consuming content and more time in practicing. We have said this before. People who became successful before us, this is not something new that I'm telling you. So the problem with today's world is when you hear any motivational talk, let's say if we are motivating you in this particular conversation, you will feel good because it releases a quick dopamine in your brain. But that's just a temporary gain that you're having. If you need a long-term gain, then you have to put forward the hard work. You need to have patience. Things don't happen all of a sudden. It takes time, and persevering and like continuing on a path without getting demotivated is what can set you apart from rest of the crowd. So it is not like the intelligence or absolute IQ level that you have which matters. What matters is focus, faith, and how long you can walk on a path with an attitude, with determination.
Yes, that's great. That's a great summary of the session again, folks. And I would really like to thank everyone on the comment section who really, asked your questions respectfully, even though they were some constructive questions. It was asked in a respectful way. That's the spirit of the community. That's the spirit of learning and sharing knowledge with each other. And I really appreciate that. We would like to conduct more sessions like this and bring more valuable insights to you. I hope we stick to the true intention of the session, which is to give you the reality of the data analyst role. There is nothing being talked about here, building fancy dashboards or you getting or promoting any course so that you can magically get 30 LPA in 2 months. There is nothing like that. It's all about reality. So if you are watching, if you just joined the session right now, please go back and watch the full session. It will be really useful to you because all the folks who are sitting here, they are working in the industry and they are spending the time just to educate you on this. So again, thank you. I really thank all of the people who joined, every one of you, because your time is really valuable, and thanks for spending that today with aspirants.
Thank you for having us, and all the best,
Thank you
everyone.
for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much.
All the
Thank
best.
you for having
Thank you
us.
so
It was
much.
a nice
everyone.
talk.
Yes,
All the best,
it was a
everyone.
nice.
Thank you so much.
Yes, all the best.
We'll just
Sir,
go off.
I
Again,
have a request. Please, to Codebasics team, please do a session and not